minus 9 minutes. Minus 8 minutes. Minus 7 minutes. Minus 6 minutes. Minus 5 minutes. Minus 2 minutes. Minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
It literally never gets old when Rick Regan says it. Rick Regan's his name. How about that? You old-timers will remember he was here way back at the start of this perilous show. Still rocking and rolling into episode number 1742 of the RP Show. Still doing a Football Friday and a very big football weekend. We got balls for y'all. Kevin Hughes joining us from the Hughes Sports Podcast. Kevin the Medium in seconds. But we are changing gears up a little bit in hour two. Chris Knuckles Nilan will be with us, Stanley Cup champion, Montreal Canadiens legend, because it was the only day that he could do it, and he is royalty. So Knuckles Nilan will join us. Kevin, listen, let's jump right into it. Everybody's all horny. Biz said it last night on TNT, so we can say it. We can say the term. Everybody's horny about football here for this show, and I get it. But Stanley Cup playoffs, brother. The Habs are rolling. The Knights are rolling. What's your take on the Stanley Cup playoffs as we open the Quick Six with hockey?
The Montreal Canadiens, God bless them. The hockey gods need to bless them, because I know I was going to just make your picks. Remember I said that on the show last night? And I went to Cool Bets, my betting site. And as I was looking at it, I went, I can't pick against the Canadiens. So I picked the Canadiens, and the hockey gods looked out for me. I'm $50 richer. I feel like $1 million, Rod.
I'm very proud of you, Kev, and I feel like a big numpty because I'm 0 for 2 in my picks. Like, but I don't mind because I don't put money down, so I'm good. It's just my pride that's hurt, and trust me, I'll get over it. But I mean, road teams won game ones of the conference finals. Vegas in Colorado Wednesday, Montreal in Carolina last. I don't know what's going to happen tonight. That's what makes it great, though. That's what I don't really understand. With college football, college basketball, and in some ways NFL, we all kind of know the way it's going to go. Really, this hockey, we don't. That's more fun to me.
I mean, they have the saying, any given Sunday. We could say that about hockey and any given night. These four teams, you don't get to the Final Four in the Stanley Cup playoffs by being lucky or going on a run. You're there because you're a damn good team. And in Montreal's case, did they have a few bounces go their way? Of course they did. But they're a good team. That's why they're there. Any of these four teams, you can make an argument to win the cup. Nobody can argue back.
I was thinking it this morning when I was at the gym. I was like, would any of us be surprised if Montreal won the Stanley Cup? At this point, no. Any one of these four, but if it was Montreal, and my goodness, they're in the driver's seat already of that series. So, hey, John writes it and says, Football Friday. They can't wait, so let's do it. I'll talk more hockey next hour. Okay, that's why Kevin's here. I said we were going to talk about it. And listen, I wrote it down, Ottawa versus Montreal tonight in the CFL preseason. I think that's a Friday Night Football telecast. I'm not sure. Saturday triple header. We've been talking about it actually all week. We'll get to it more after the break. It's a fun poll question. We might as well jump in it right now. Kevin, over to you. You're the guest. This was your idea.
It was funny because when I got off the air yesterday, I was like, I honestly tried not to bring up the word expansion on the Rod Pedersen show because I know you've been around it as long as I have. It's frustrating when we talk about it. But when we were talking this morning and I said, I am not going to bring up this word. And then you said, let's make it the poll question. I was like, blame it on me. It's my fault. I brought it up. Will the CFL expand? Yes, it has to. I think it's sooner than we all think. I think there's play happening in between. Ooh, I got goosebumps when I said that. So the football gods are agreeing with me. I'm going to say 2028. We're going to see that 10th team. Thank goodness. And then we can stop talking about it for 30 seconds.
No. They'll go to a 10th team. Then it'll be, we got to have 12. That would make us more. So who's going to be the 11th and the 12th? It's never enough. It's like the college football playoff. It was 4 teams. Then it was 12. Now it's going to be 16. Now they're talking 24. It's never enough. It's never enough. And interestingly enough, so the poll question is for our friends at Country Thunder. The biggest party this summer is coming to Craven, Saskatchewan, July 9th to the 12th, featuring the RP show, plus Lainey Wilson and Creed. You can get your tickets now. You don't need tickets to watch our show, but the others you do at countrythunder.com/SK. So, hey, I'm not sure which philosopher, it might have been Carl Jung, I think it was, said, what you resist persists.
Yes.
So as annoyed as I am at the CFL expansion talk, which, by the way, I want it as much as anybody. I want them to expand to the States. And, and I'm around football people all the time here. They bring it up a lot. Do you see the CFL expanding to this? I'm like, but because I said it's a no-fly zone. And just to be honest, it's on our Instagram poll, by the way, 85% of respondents saying, yes, the CFL will expand. Kevin just said it. He's like, it has to. But we're at a point almost, Kev. I'm not a dummy, I don't think. I've been called that. I've been called a lot worse. But I'm like, it's cruel. It's cruel. I was at the 2018 Grey Cup in the room when Randy Ambrosie and the owners of the Atlantic Schooners, they might as well have called them the Fairy Tale Princesses because it was a god darn fairy tale. It's cruel. It's cruel. You see where I'm going?
Well, it's like hanging that carrot in front of you, but never letting you quite grasp the carrot. It is cruel. And in my head, it's going a million miles an hour because on the Hughes Sports podcast, Jake is a huge proponent and he feels it in his belly that we're going to have 20 teams. And that's going to happen like that. And everybody knows the UFL wants one more team. That'll make them 10 teams. If we have 10 teams, that's 20 teams. AFC, NFC, do you remember those days?
Oh, yeah. I actually don't. I wasn't following the NFL till like the late 80s, to be honest with you. So that whole era is just, I got to read about it. Or, I certainly don't really remember it, but I get what you're saying. Listen, where I come from on this is I think legitimate because I was at that news conference where they had the cheerleaders in purple and black and the logo and the room was full. And I'm like, it's coming. And then 2 years later, I'm on a golf course at Deer Valley and the marshal was like, yeah, so they announced that expansion team. When are they going to start playing? I'm like, they didn't announce it. Well, they announced it, but they didn't grant it. That's where I say this is cruel. And that really cheesed me off that whole scenario. Let's get real about it. That's all. Okay. So I'm going to go into this weekend. Coming out of this break, I'm going to, yeah. We'll be right back on the RP Show.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sasktix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
Trying to keep it civil, most of all, trying to keep it fun, and we'll succeed on both counts. And Kevin, the medium, will join us here in seconds from the Hughes Sports Podcast. Kevin Hughes, he is a medium. He speaks to dead people. That's why we get along. The comments are going crazy, and the text line is open. It's brought to you by Western Dodge, 902-518-3033. Are you looking to trade up? Western Dodge makes it easy with top dollar trade-ins and unbeatable deals. Again, we'll get to the actual games this weekend in the CFL. If you joined us late, why are we talking about CFL expansion? That and is the poll question, will the CFL ever expand? Kevin brought it up just to tick me off, and as you see, Kev, you succeeded. But it's also like the favorite topic of CFL fans. And this is a Football Friday, and this is the Canadian Hour, so I totally get it. Can I read you a few, and you can give your thoughts?
Yeah.
Bob writes in. He says they are talking about having a team in Quebec City to create a rivalry between Montreal and Quebec. Not sure. Vancouver Eric writes in, he says, what has changed since the debacle of the 1990s U.S. expansion? Nothing. John says, I can see a 16-team CFL by weeding out any weak UFL franchises. Utah Darren writes in and says, I will not jump in on CFL U.S. expansion. I get roasted every time I do, but it would work. So, okay, those are some of them. Your thoughts?
If, that big word, it's the smallest word, one of the smallest words in the English dictionary, but if, in capital letters, there wasn't a big plan, the big vision of going to the U.S., we wouldn't have seen our field go to 100 yards. We wouldn't have moved the goalpost to the back. This is part of the plan. And you know what? When it first came out, I was pissy. I was like, hey, don't change my game. I was the old man yelling at the cloud. And since then, after sitting back and really contemplating it, is it going to change our game one little bit? No. As long as they leave all the other rules the same, we can easily now fit our field into a lot of the stadiums in the U.S. That's been the problem. We haven't been able, you can't fit a 110-yard field into a 100-yard stadium. It doesn't work. It's math. It just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So what's different? So much has changed since the 90s. In the 90s, we tried to select cities. Oh, let's go to this city. Let's go to that city. What's changed is the UFL. The UFL is an established league. Are they getting a massive attendance? No, they're new. But I think everything's in place. The infrastructure's there, that it would make it a lot easier for the CFL to walk in. And Rod says it every single day. He lives there. He lives it 24/7. The States are dying for football. They want to consume it 24/7. We have the product. We have the greatest product on the field. All we have to do is serve it up correctly.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that they would watch it. I mean, I'll say it again. Like, it's the CFL's a vastly better product in my mind than the UFL. Yet the UFL is on Fox and ESPN. Like Saturday afternoon on ABC, they're showing a UFL game. I'm like, man, imagine if that was, you know, the Birmingham whatever's against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. It would be big for everybody. But, you know, part of the problem too, by the way, and Utah Darren writes and he says, stop, Kevin, you are treading in a minefield. No, not with me, he's not. Kevin is good. With me, I mean, I don't know about all the viewers. The problem here, of which there are many, number one, you said, where we're on the same page, you said how many things have changed since the 90s. The viewer, Eric, said, what's changed? No, everything's changed. It's like me with the roller hockey people, which I'm going to be meeting with them tonight in West Palm Beach before I fly back to Canada tomorrow. But because I've said to them, why do you want me? I didn't know these people. And they said, well, when we ran this league in the 90s, there was no internet. Therefore, there was no streaming. Sports betting wasn't a thing. You know all of these things. Oh. So see, because again, they came to me. I didn't go to them. But everything has changed. Kevin's saying that. And it's similar to this show. Like, I don't like the fact that we're not on Game Plus TV, right? And I don't want to I can't give away too many of the secrets why, but the network was like, it's a streaming future anyways, so they're putting us on their YouTube channel with Game Plus. They're like, you're still part of the family. You're our highest rated show. We're going to put you on our YouTube channel to attract everybody there. And I'm like, well, whatever, because it doesn't change what I got to do here. Nothing's changed for what you and I do in terms of content or what we talk about. But so, again, I'll leave that to the mucky mucks. But again, this isn't the 1990s. And I mean, I want them to expand, but it's funny, Kev, like, again, I keep saying you're going to come here. I guess you're coming in February. Did you book your trip on the cruise for Uniglobe Carefree Travel? You're coming for sure, right?
I had put down my non-refundable deposit. It's a done deal. All I'm waiting for now is to book my flight, and I'm playing when I'm going to book what days I'm coming down, because I'm going to come down early, and we're going to spend at least a week together prior to the cruise. And then are you coming on the cruise? What's the story there?
Dude, There's a reason the bracelet says one day at a time. I'll be happy getting through today. Talk about what's going on in February. Bob writes in and says, get Mark Cuban to buy a CFL franchise and watch it grow. He's invested in our Canadian Basketball League. Jason in Red Deer says, be interesting to have a CFL franchise in Niagara Falls. Here's the part that I just can't deal in fantasy. I can't. Yeah. That's not how I think. My feet are on the ground every day, and they have to be. I mean, the world needs dreamers, and the world needs doers. And when you have both, you got a winner. But it's like to sit here and talk about, let's put a team on the moon. Let's do this. Let's do that. There's no stadium in Niagara Falls. Mark Cuban doesn't give a shit about the CFL. For God's sakes, he's a basketball guy. So that's where I get angry with this. And then secondly, you can sit around with and you'll be part of these conversations that I'm in. Like, for instance, these football guys, they just go nuts about the CFL. They love it. And these viewers are like, those high school players know about the CFL? Yes, you guys, because they're football people. They know very well about the CFL. It's been around for 113 years. Yes, they know. Okay, they love it. But here's the other thing, Kev. One guy said to me the other day, do you think Alberta will ever separate? And I'm like, well, they should. Sorry for saying, but they should. Financially, they should, but they won't because they can't get enough votes to do it. This is where you and I might get in a fight. So I'll be careful with what I say here. But to get everybody to agree on the direction to go with regards to expansion almost feels like an impossibility to me. And that's what
it's never going to happen. And I would hate to be the commissioner that finally pulls the trigger and does have expansion, because no matter what he does, it's going to be wrong for 50% of the crowd. You can never win. Do we go to Quebec? Do we go to Kelowna? Do we go to the Halifax? Do we go on the island? Blah, 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 blah. What you need is somebody in that commissioner's seat that just doesn't give a flying about anybody's feelings, and they make decisions based on what's best for the league. And a lot of times, I mean, you brought up politics. A lot of times in politics, and as you know, I used to be very heavily involved in politics way back when in the 2019, 2018 for years. Anyway, a lot of times when you're running a party in politics, you have to make decisions that aren't popular with your base, I'll call it. So be it. Sometimes you do what's best for the league. And right now, the best thing for the league is get that 10th team as quickly as possible and take the flack. He's already taken the flack. He is showing that he's got some kahunas because he's made changes that, holy, people, even including myself, lied about.
I get the sense that he doesn't really like taking the flack, and he didn't expect to get this amount of flack. That's just the sense that I get, and I'm pretty good at reading people just like you. Jeff the Stamps fan says, Rod, this is about to go off the rails if we start talking about that Alberta separation. I should have listened to the little voice in my head that said, don't do it. But it was just an example. It was just a parallel.
Bad example.
But, and this is why, frankly, I'm not going to joke. I'll be real with you. And part of the reason why the Monkey Mucks don't really like me, like the CFL, in a lot of ways, that bridge with me is burnt. I'm never going back across it. They're not coming to my side. We're just waving at each other from other sides of the bridge because I am who I am. Like, for instance, I'll give you a little example there was a TV channel that I was working with years ago. Well, I'm not going to tell you when, people will guess, but we were sitting in the office with the general manager and I don't know what his title was, sales manager, whatever. And they were talking about all these ideas. And they've been talking about them for a long time. And I finally turned to the guy and I said, listen, why don't you and me and him get in a boat and sail around the frickin' world? Because there's about as much chance of that happening as what you're talking about. They don't like that, Kev.
No.
They don't like it. And I have a tough time sitting there biting my lip. I can only do it for so long. Let's get real.
Well,
And we're still sitting here with 9 freaking teams. And the commissioner just said it's not on his radar. So why the hell are we talking about it?
What else are we going to talk about right now? And that's the problem with the CFL.
Shit that matters.
Yeah. This matters, though. This matters. This, if you're going to make all these rule changes to, I'm going to say the word and I'm probably going to get poo-pooed again all over X, but you're making these changes to Americanize the game. Yes, Americanize it. And then you say, no, we don't plan on going to the U.S. Stop. What did you say? Stop peeing on my head and tell me it's raining. Right? It's
which is what these people do. But, furthermore, where I'm at on all this is, because I do try to talk about the CFL, but the toxicity in the league just makes it not fun after a while. It's just the way that it is. Like, look at Luke Wilson. He came in a year ago and said he was going to eradicate the toxicity in the league. Where's Luke Wilson been lately? You can't do it. You can't do it. Now, but where I'm willing to give this some time is that with the last, I can't hold Stuart Johnston responsible for the sins of a Randy Ambrosie or a Mark Cohan, who, by the way, I loved him, but he made some really dumb decisions too. Tom Wright didn't last. And Jeffrey Orridge, don't get me going. I'm willing to give Stuart Johnston a chance because you know what? One thing about this world that has never changed is that if you show somebody respect, they'll show you respect. Stuart Johnston came on this show multiple times in his first year, and for that, I will never forget that. So I've never dumped on his ideas here and everything. So because Ambrosie was a pipe dream, and I'm not sure if it's his fault or whose fault it was that the Halifax thing never happened, I don't know. I honestly, as God is my witness, I don't know. But I'm not going to hold Stuart Johnston responsible for the sins of any of those guys or the 90s expansion, which, by the way, I don't think that failed either. To be honest, I was kind of I was quasi-working in the league at the time. I was doing the pre- and post-game shows in the sidelines. I don't really remember why that stopped, other than I guess the U.S. teams ran out of money. And why would we think that wouldn't happen now? In that regard, I'm not sure that's different.
I think with the U.S. expansion, I think you nailed it when in the 90s, we didn't have what we're doing now. We didn't have the streaming. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have news happening every second. With that invention comes a lot of more eyes on the CFL. There's a lot of people watch the CFL in the US. I'm on a Facebook group, CFL USA.
It's huge.
It's a big freaking site. So way different than the 90s. Way different. In the 90s, they really didn't know what we were doing up here to the extent that we are now. Football people knew, the inside people knew, but the average fan didn't know. The average fan knows now, and that's why it will work in the States. Simple.
And you need owners that have money. If they ever think that they're going to make money, the Canadian owners don't make money, so why the U.S. owner? But anyways, we'll be right back. It's a Football Friday. I hope you're enjoying it right here on the RP Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca. Or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Dean Brody and the Wreck Loss teaming up for the Hometown Heroes Tour.
If there's work, you know I'm gonna work.
Live at Temple Garden Center, November 9th.
Can't blame nobody else. I can't help myself.
Two of Canada's biggest country acts. One stage, one unforgettable night on the Hometown Heroes Tour.
In the back rows, and we know like the back of our hands.
Tickets on sale now at the Temple Garden Center box office or online at saskpix.ca.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. For the love of God, I hope you're loving this CFL chat, because we literally only do it to this degree 1 hour a week. And I am going to get to the games here right away. Kevin the Medium is with us from the Hughes Sports Podcast. And Kevin the Medium channeling. Kev, from the audience, and it's his fault that we are talking about this. Kevin brought it up before the show. The poll question is, will the CFL ever expand? Tony from Cochrane writes in, he says, I want to know who's paying for these field changes. If it's raising ticket prices, they're shooting themselves in the foot. Wayne in Winnipeg says, hey, guys, CFL expansion, where's the money coming from? Where is the market? Guys, don't worry about it, because it's not your money, and it won't go to ticket prices. And the thing with these big money guys, because the guys in the CFL, I brag on them. You think Marm Dolman doesn't have money, or Bob Young, or anything? They got the money. Or Quebecor that owns the Alouettes. Listen, if they want it to happen, it will happen. So don't worry about it. They'll find a way. You don't need to worry about that. Any last thoughts before we talk about the actual games, Kev?
No, except I'm sorry, Rod.
You should be. For bringing this up. Well,
yeah.
Dude, do you understand? We haven't gotten anywhere.
No.
I don't like wasting time. I don't like living in fantasy. And I don't know why the hell we just spent 30 minutes on it. It kind of pisses me off. We didn't get anywhere.
And we won't get anywhere. And that's the point of this, is it's a vicious circle. Like you said, it's cruel.
Well, hang on a sec. Jeff the Stamps fan writes and he says, if we expand, how do we deal with the ratio in the U.S.? Nothing needs to change. Which interestingly, Mike Davis brought this up either last Friday or the Friday before from the Vegas Nighthawks. He brought up that the immigration issue, getting players back and forth. He said, we did it in the 90s with no problem. We don't need to have the ratio. We didn't have it then. And just so you know, it was no unfair advantage. You guys act like I'm a newbie at this. I've run all the numbers. I worked in the CFL full-time for 20 years. The Canadian teams were 500 against the U.S. teams in regular season play and playoffs in that time. The ratio is not a big deal, which again, people talk about stuff that they don't understand. I'm getting a bang out of this. Let me talk about this first. Are you seeing this thing with the Golden Knights not allowing Bruce Cassidy to talk to the owners? Like it's on my radar, but for obvious reasons, because you've seen them talk about it up there.
I've been actually following it just because it's interesting to me. It's one of those, okay, what's behind this? Why? I always look trying to find like where are they going with this? What's the purpose? So yes, I have been following it.
Okay, well, there's some, I don't know what the purpose is, but there's some guys, some people just get on their high horse or their soapbox or a crusade. And there's a guy at ESPN who I know and another guy at The Athletic who I've met. I don't know him, but they're on this crusade to make it fair that Bruce Cassidy should be able to interview with the Oilers because John Tortorella was allowed to by Philadelphia when Vegas hired it. Go to a freaking labor lawyer or labor lawyer or the labor board, as we call it in Canada. It's it's the law. Go to a lawyer. Don't ask John Tortorella. Go ahead.
If they have the right, Vegas being they have the right to say, you know what, we don't want to deal with this right now. We'll deal with it after the playoffs. They have that right. It's written in the contract. You need my permission to talk to Rod. If I don't want you talking to Rod, guess what? You're not going to talk to Rod because I have that right. So it's funny for me to watch this kind of thing and go, what's really happening? Like, why are people so invested in this? The teams aren't. The teams went, yeah, okay, we'll wait till the end.
Yeah, it's weird. Exactly. And it's just reporters and the media just get on this narrative. Sometimes they're prodded to do so. Trust me, I've been there. And sometimes they just take it upon themselves. But it's like, you're going to outsmart Kelly McCrimmon? You might as well go, to use my mom's term, you might as well go piss in the wind. Because all it's going to do is come back on you. You're not going to hurt anybody but yourself, because Kelly McCrimmon didn't have a law degree, but he's got a master's in business. I know you're not going to outsmart the guy. He knows every rule inside and out and clause of the contract. And you, from The Athletic, you're going to whatever. Yes, Kyle Busch passed away at the age of 41.
Oh,
that's in the sports update. We're not. Well, hey, NASCAR. This is the birthplace of NASCAR. Just so Florida, look it up.
Yeah.
My God, people have been crying for 24 hours here, and they will be all throughout the weekend. Arlen Bruce checks in, says, "Great day, RP and Kevin, the medium. Big game for the Arizona Rattlers and my son Arlen Bruce IV. The IFL Championship game Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern in New York City." All right. Good stuff. For the CFL, I don't know. I wanted to spend more time on this. Thanks to Kevin, we didn't. I say that tongue-in-cheek, Kev. I love you. Bombers, Riders at Griffith Stadium. Kev's on record as saying he didn't care about the Lions and the Elkamos. So there's that. But Mike O'Shea won't say, or at least last I saw, he won't say the quarterback split time for Taylor Elgersma and Zach Caleros. I'm like, come on, Osh. It's a flipping preseason game, man. It's not the Super Bowl. I don't think I could work with that guy. I don't think I could work with him.
I think you two would butt heads saying hello. They're just two people who are so exact opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I barely know him. Like, literally the only conversation I had with him, I'm like, I was at Smokin' Okies Barbecue in Regina with Richie Hall and George Reed. And I'm like, hey, Osh, come jump in this photo. He's like, no, we're good. I'm like, well, come on, get in the photo. No. Okay, we'll just sit there then. I mean, thanks. We wouldn't last 5 minutes.
No.
So I don't know. The fact about that game in Saskatoon largely is that it's a novelty that it's there, which is awesome.
Well, and I saw or I heard, it was on your show, that this used to be a normal thing way back when, before our time. And then they stopped doing it for whatever reason. And now they're bringing it back. And I think it's great. I think preseason should be spread around. The BC's been doing it for years. And it works. It gets people talking, especially when you go to smaller towns. Not that Saskatoon is a smaller town. Don't come at me. But towns outside of your regular city, it helps promote this league of ours. And it helps the teams sell tickets. So I think every team should be doing more of this. I think it's awesome.
I'm an NBA fan because Minnesota played Atlanta in Saskatoon in 1992 or 1993, and we're always looking for something to do. And I went, Dikembe Mutombo was playing for the Timberwolves, Craig Elo for the Atlanta Hawks. I'm like, oh, this is good. And I've been a fan ever since. It's the same mentality. And we did it with the junior hockey teams for years. We played in small towns. We played in some American cities, which was fun. So I like it. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says Winnipeg is divided. Caleros versus El Gurzma. I'm sure it is. But it's like that's what training camp's for. That's what the preseason's for. And it's really funny, by the way, because the CFL's long had the 2 preseason games. The NFL had 4. Now the NFL's shortening theirs to 3. Eventually it'll be to 2. That's the one thing about the CFL from a football perspective. They've always got it right. I mean, don't get into the Stuart Johnston changes. I don't even understand that. I'm just trying to support the guy.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny that all the leagues eventually end up mimicking the CFL.
I mean, we've been around for 113. Is it 113 years? Is that right?
I believe that's the 113th Grey Cup. Yeah.
Yeah. You've been around for 113 years. You're doing something right for all the people out there. CFL doesn't know what they're doing. Come on, it's been 113 years. They know what they're doing. They have the product. I say it all the time. We have the best product in football. It's the promotion of the game. That's the only part that is lacking in the CFL. Everything else is fine. It's the promotion. So I think, I'm not going to say it. Go ahead. I'm not going down that path of expansion talk again. I'm done.
Well, I just don't really know. Shame on me. Shame on you. I hope everybody's happy. We spent 30 minutes on it and didn't get anywhere. In my mind, I have the vision of a gif of a dog chasing his tail. Here we are. But anyways, 20 minutes left in this hour. We'll talk a little more CFL. But I see they want to talk Stanley Cup Playoffs, and I'm down. But, Kevin, you have yourself a safe weekend and safe trip. We'll see you when we see you, as Gary Etcheberry's fond of saying.
You the week of June 8th or 9th. So whatever the Thursday, Friday of that week, I will see you then. Obviously, you and I will probably keep in touch while I'm away. I have my phone. Japan apparently and TELUS have a deal. So I can use my
safe travels, Kev. We'll be right back.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
To be clear, and as I said earlier in the week, all these commercial breaks for just a momentary pause in the discussion, right back to where we were. Clearly, I'm not anti-CFL. I'm anti-CFL expansion talk because, again, it's just a gigantic waste of time and money, and I don't understand why people just love sitting in this. I guess people just like sitting in the fantasy world of it all, but it's getting to a point now where it's like when they do eventually expand, because I do think that they will, I'll be invited there for the ribbon-cutting ceremony at the stadium. I don't know where it's going to be or when, but it's just like, oh, my God, can we get like, wake me up when you announce it, for the love of God, because I don't know where they're going, but I'm still a huge CFL person, as are our sponsors. Score a touchdown in the Caribbean. Join CFL legend Adam Big Hill and Saskatchewan Roughriders linebacker Jameer Thurman on a 7-day cruise departing from Fort Lauderdale on February 20th, 2027. A once-in-a-lifetime experience for CFL fans. Prices from $18.99, cruise only. Contact Neil Chark at Uniglobe Travel. His email is Neil, that's Neal, at uniglobecarefree.ca. From the text line, which is brought to you by Western Dodge, 902-518-3033. Vintage Sasko writes in. He's signing his name today, Senior Sasko, and here's why. He says, hi, Uncle Rod and Forced Fumble Hughes. The CFL is going to expand to Monterrey, Mexico, and the RP Show will be there doing live shows. Viva La Rouge. From Vintage Sasko. Kirk in Toronto writes in. He says, hey, Rod, we need a 10th team, period. Quebec City, and call them the Nordique. Forget the U.S. Oh, and by the way, from the audience, Ryan McCarthy, Cardinal Ryan from upstate New York writes in. He says, safe travels to Japan, Kevin. It's one of the places to visit on my bucket list. Hope you enjoy it. Since we're getting real here today, and I like to think that we do that every day, but just the other day, I know what it was. This gal, Paulina, was working on me, and she was like, do you have any interest in going to the Ukraine? I'm like, no, especially not now, but really not ever. And she's like, where do you want to go? I said, nowhere. I'm good here. I am good in Florida. Now, having said that, I'm getting on the jet, and I'm very, very, very excited to get home for the summer. I am. You know that feeling where your heart's just bouncing off the top of your rib cage? That's me coming back to Canada for the summer. There's a lot of people around here that aren't happy about it, but I'm like, guys, I'm not going off to war. I'll be back Labor Day weekend. But other than that, I have zero interest in leaving the continent. So if you're saying that the CFL is going to expand to Mexico, which, of course, back to fantasy world, La La Land, but I'm okay with that. I just have zero. I know there's a lot of people that don't want to leave Saskatchewan ever. It's a mindset. I get it. I'm not of that mindset. But it's the same mindset in that I don't care to leave this continent. I'm fine. Got everything I need here. This girl, Paulina, she was like, I'm kind of sick of Florida. I'm sick of the tropics. I'm sick of the fruits. I'm sick of the greenery. I'm like, I said, every single day I wake up and I am grateful for living here. But to each their own. I'm just telling you, I have no interest to go to the Ukraine or anywhere else for that matter. Oh, and by the way, everybody, when is the Rider game at Calgary? Because, again, I work one day at a time, man. Plus, I got a baseball schedule that I need to keep up with as I'm broadcasting Western Canadian baseball. It sounds like we're going to have a big meetup in Calgary this summer when the Riders were at the Stampeders. I don't know what weekend it is, but Vancouver Eric writes in and says, safe travels to Canada, RP. Great to have you home. It's going to be good to be home, and for a lot of reasons, because I'm thankfully at a point now where I don't need to go back, like, immigration. I don't need to. I go back because I want to. I just love it so much. Rob from Las Vegas writes in, oh, it's June 20th? That should work. I got to check the baseball. It's another venture, by the way. I can't say anything now. I can't. Voice in my head, don't say it. It's another venture that I'm into that it's Western Canada wide. Looks like it's going to be multinational, and we're all going to meet in Calgary and go to the game. I think we got to do that. And gotta go to, obviously, overtime hockey lanes and see all my buds and all that. I love Calgary. Don't tell Jeff the Stamps fan. I really love Calgary. Nor anybody from Edmonton. Don't tell them. Rob from Las Vegas writes in, he says, Taylor L. Gersma has two advantages over Bryce Perkins. He is familiar with the Canadian game, having played at Wilfrid Laurier, and has a much stronger arm. He apparently can make every throw on the field. Oh, and that's, you guys want to get into it, eh? Utah Darren says, isn't Bryce Perkins on the Winnipeg roster? I would think a quarterback battle would be more involved with Perkins and Caleros than a rookie. So they're having their debate there. Oh, this is not the roller hockey. This is another venture. I'm going to meet the roller hockey people tonight in West Palm Beach. This is another entity. It's not roller hockey. I wish it was. Vancouver Eric says, bring back the voodoo RP. Well, we can't. You can thank the Canucks for that. They own the name. So, Eric, you want to go down to Rogers Arena and just see if the Canucks are willing to let that go? Or maybe they will own the team. That's kind of what we're going to talk about tonight. Jeff the Stamps fan says, what did you say? I couldn't hear. I'm not repeating it. 902-518-3033. By the way, I'd probably might have stayed in Calgary when I was doing the shows from the Grey Eagle. The people there, they're like, it would be a lot easier if you just lived here. And I'm like, I'm not going to lead you on. I'm going to be living in Florida. So let's just keep doing this. And then when I met with the different media around Calgary, they were like, yeah, people just can't get over you being the rider guy. I'm like, well, I can't do that for the rest of my life. Where were we? You would talk. Where's Tony? We got the 4x gouge just going. Or just kind of staying in the CFL road. Do you want to... Point one was to be, and is, the Carolina Hurricanes getting shellacked like an outhouse toilet seat. 6-2 last night by Montreal in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final. I feel like we'll talk more about that next hour. Point two is to be Vegas at Colorado tonight, Game 2. I don't think we've talked about that at all. Point three, CFL preseason kickoff. Haven't talked about that enough. And whatever there is in the NFL, which there's literally nothing. But the poll question is for Country Thunder. We did mention this, but biggest party this summer coming to Craven, July 9th to the 12th, featuring Lainey Wilson and Creed. Point four is the Blue Jays. I'm just going to carry that over to the next hour. I'm not even going to read the script that I have here. And point five is the NBA, the association. And the Memmer starts tonight, by the way. It's in my commentary if anybody cares. You can go to rodpeterson.com. Airs on Sask Radio. Greatest hockey tournament in the world. My favorite hockey tournament begins tonight in Kelowna, BC. My earliest memories of the Memorial Cup, 1980. In the Regina Agrodome. Mike Keenan, Dale Howardchuk, Brian Murray, Doug Wickenheiser. Ring a bell? Jason in Red Deer says, what's the other venture, Rod? CFL expansion team somewhere? This is one of I'm working real closely with my coach here, who's incidentally meeting us tonight in West Palm. She's like, Rod, maybe don't be so transparent with things and hard on your sleeve, you know? So that's what I'm working on now. See why I don't judge people? I got enough to work on with myself, let alone everybody else. So I'm just getting invited into a lot of these groups. And it's exciting. I like it. I can't tell you what the one is that we're meeting in Calgary. And by the way, the plans are just coming together on it. But you kind of know them. That's the exciting thing. Kirk in Toronto writes in on the Western Dodge text line, hey, Rod, will you be making an Ontario stop like you did last year? What's it matter? He didn't come down there. Although I have to thank Troy from Toronto who did. Troy Colmer, by the way, world's newest recovery coach. Way to go, Troy. Super proud of you for doing that. Going and getting the training is going to change people's lives. I'll give you a little hint. The really smart people will figure this out. But it's a company that melds helping people, innovation, building things, and it's really, really big. That's really all, and it has to do with sports. That's why they asked me. But that's all I can say at this point. We'll see how it goes. But it's not CFL expansion. I can tell you that for free. And as I said before, I mean, it's downright cruel that we would even be talking about it and what the CFL pulled that day in Edmonton at the 2018 Grey Cup when I was in the room. And those were my buddies. Those Atlantic Schooners guys were the Arizona Coyotes guys. That's who they were. And they had the cheerleaders. I actually thought it was coming. To be honest, I kind of think that's where I checked out on the whole CFL expansion talk. You announced it. You fooled everybody into thinking that it was going to happen. And then you pulled the rug out on the whole thing. Yeah. Homie, don't play that game. But having said that, Randy Ambrosie's gone. Those guys are long gone. I don't know what Stuart Johnston's doing. People are calling me a lackey for supporting the guy. And I'm like, I don't like the changes either, but what am I going to do? Still want to watch the league and support the league. All right, Knuckles Nilan coming up next hour. We'll be right back, everybody, on the RP Show. Stick around.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
Welcome, everybody, to the RP Show on a Friday. We welcome the Nevada viewers across Silver State Sports and those that continue to watch on Game Plus, streaming, YouTube, and a variety of other platforms, and listening on WQVZ. I'm going to need you to help me out, everybody, in a lot of ways. I mean, I need your help a lot and every day, but and I may not need it, but I'll tell you that the text line is open, 902-518-3033. Today's guest, as we plan a lot of hockey talk over the next hour, even though it is a football Friday, Chris Knuckles Nilan is scheduled to be with us, brought to you by Prairie Panels. In our next segment, the Stanley Cup champion with the Montreal Canadiens, Habs great. Just to let y'all know, he said maybe Friday. He wasn't available Wednesday, Thursday. He said maybe Friday. So I sent him the link. Haven't heard back from him since. Just so you know, producer Corey, maybe I should send you his number. Producer Corey can call him. How about that? I probably should have done that in the break, but I was too busy going back and forth with the viewers and fans. Actually, while we do that, I can do two things at once, believe it or not. Point one of the Quick Six show topics is Stanley Cup Playoffs. It's the big story. Let's go quickly through what happened last night. Okay, share contact. Boom. The Carolina Hurricanes emerged from their 11-day break, the longest rest for any team before starting the next round in the Stanley Cup playoffs since 1920, by watching the Montreal Canadiens skate circles around them last night and pounce for a club record 4 goals in the first 11 minutes of the hockey game. And that set the tone in what would become a 6-2 Montreal Canadiens victory to open the best-of-7 Stanley Cup Eastern Conference final last night. What? You watched it, right? Did you not? That whole, what they've been talking about for largely 11 days, the whole rest versus rust thing, and I really enjoyed the discussion this morning on NHL radio. They had Brian Burke on there, and I don't know if Berkey predicted this or not. It wasn't a physical rust thing, but it was a hella mental rust thing. But we all saw it. The Hurricanes scored in the first 30 seconds, and didn't even announce the goal yet. Montreal comes back and ties it 1-1, and then bang, bang, bang. Montreal just kept coming. But sometimes when you get into a game, that hurricane is too much to quell, and that's what happened last night. And I'll tell you what, if anybody other than Habs fans, because they can be forgiven, they all think that it's going to be a sweep. That's just Habs fans. That's what they do. But if you think the Carolina Hurricanes are out of this series based on one game, it's only one game. And now I'm really seeing, I don't know if it's age or what exactly it is, but it's like, hold your horses. It's like everybody's going nuts. Maybe it's this media craze now, which, by the way, we're going to get into right away when it comes around to the Golden Knights. But you see why the coaches shield their players from the media if they can. Put them in a hotel for home games if they can, because it's crazy this time of year. And even more so now with the advent of social media and all the rest. So it's only one game. Rod Brindamore is a veteran coach. I'm almost would guarantee you that Carolina will come back and win game 2, but I'm 0 for 2 so far in my picks, so what the hell do I know, in these conference finals, which are brought to you every day by Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon. Come early and stay late at the place where friends meet. It's the perfect place for hockey watching. Pump Jack's Weyburn, Pump Jack's Cathedral. It's going to be one of the first places I stop as I head back to Canada for the summer, and quite frankly, I can't wait. I'll be on the jet on Saturday to get on the sports trail, see all my homies for the summer. Again, 902-518-3033. At the end of hour 1, I dropped a little hint on the latest business interest that I'm getting into, and I'm just reading the comments from the viewer. I've probably already said too much, although it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, we're planning a little bit of a summit in Western Canada, in Calgary in June, around the CFL game there, and it's going to be big fun. And it's not roller hockey. That's another thing. We're dealing with that tonight. Okay. The warm-up is brought to you by Uniglobe Carefree Travel, the preferred travel partner of the RP Show and the BC Lions. When it comes to sports trips, group travel, or your next great getaway, trust the pros who handle every detail so you can enjoy the journey. Contact Neil Chark with Uniglobe Carefree Travel. How you can help me out is this. You don't need to right now, but if I don't hear back from Knuckles Nilan, if he doesn't join us in the next segment, you're all going to need to help me with the back and forth that we do every day, where I do the Larry King of Sport. Hello, Gloria. In Yonkers, hello. That's fun, too. But it's more fun when I plan for it, you know? And Knuckles, he's not used to letting me down. I'm just saying I haven't heard back from him since I sent him the link, so I'll just be prepared. Because we're all sitting here doing our thing, yakking it up on the old yak box. Consider what these Habs greats or the Avalanche franchise greats or the Hurricanes, they're the Final Four of the Stanley Cup Playoffs. They got stuff going on. They do, and it's just exciting. Can't do it every year. Unless you're Vegas, which let's roll into the next point. Point 2, Western Conference Final, Game 2 tonight. Vegas Golden Knights at the Colorado Avalanche. To be honest, I'm still stunned that Vegas rolled to the degree that they did in Game 1 to a 4-2 victory, but that was an empty netter, and Colorado came back and made it look respectable, but it wasn't respectable. At one point, the Golden Knights had a 3-0 lead against a team that, on paper, everybody would say is the better team. Record-wise, it was, but you're seeing now, right, where the playoffs are a different season than the regular season. And as I was sitting watching the game last night, Carolina-Montreal, I'm like, thank God I didn't do a pre-series preview of that, because throw it all out the window. The best goaltending, the best blue line. We talk about it every day here. The best forwards, coaching. Sometimes the intangible, and as our friends say in Quebec, the je ne sais quoi, which translated as I don't know what. Montreal's got, I don't know what. Well, actually, I do know what. Brindamore said after the game last night they couldn't match Montreal's speed. That's that whole thing where once you get into it, it's like the undertow, the riptide. You can't get out of it. That's what happened to the Hurricanes last night, ironically. And then with Vegas, it's such a distraction, this whole coaching thing. And I'm, again, in America, nobody's talking about it, but we're talking about it. You know? Yeah, I'm staying out of the comments here for now. That's why people love this show in Vegas, because we're the ones talking hockey. And the media, for whatever reason, I'll just say ESPN and The Athletic, the two leading sports entities now, really, are just all over the NHL and the Golden Knights for allowing Kelly McCrimmon, the GM of the Golden Knights, or allowing Kelly to disallow Edmonton to interview Bruce Cassidy. And I'm just like, guys, why do you care so much? I mean, John Tortorella was asked about it at the news conference the other day. We should be talking about the game. John, do you think this is fair? John, you're allowed to talk to Vegas. Philadelphia allowed that, but this isn't. He's like, I have no comment. Why would you even ask him? But again, these are some big-time dudes in the media. I mean, I just go ask a labor lawyer if it's right. Go to the labor board. Look up the law. Because I can tell you, Kelly McCrimmon, and it's not just Kelly. It goes on everywhere. This isn't new. And yet, and maybe that's what it is. Honestly, Jason and Red Deer, you were the one that predicted that the Golden Knights were going to come out galvanized by this in game 1. Whatever it was, something worked. They were sure as hell weren't distracted. What's Colorado's excuse? That Cale Makar wasn't playing? Pretty big excuse, yes. I'm going to go down and do my pick right now. I think Colorado's going to win tonight because they're too good of a team to be swept in the opening 2 games at home. I just can't see it happening. But who knows? That's why we got to watch. So, yeah, for tonight, I will say Colorado will win. I'll put an R beside that. And I'll take Carolina to win game 2 at home because we're not going to be on the air tomorrow when they play. Yes, for those that need to know, which nobody needs to know, but I'll tell you, I'll be traveling tomorrow, going through Denver, ironically, on my way to Western Canada for the summer, and I'm very excited about that. And come Monday, we'll be broadcasting from the Golden Ticket Sports Center, our summer home. 902-518-3033 is the text line. It's for our friends at Western Dodge. Drive with confidence. Shop Western Dodge. Financing, selection, and service you can count on, which, by the way, I'm also going to be going to the Mad Greek. When we talk hockey, I should have been saying it earlier, it's brought to you by the Mad Greek for legendary ribs, delicious pizza, and late-night bites. It's the Mad Greek Eatery. Open until 11 p.m. Order online, pick up, or dine in at the madgreekeatery.com. Jeff the Stamps fan says, so I guess I should start taking Montreal as a real contender. Probably a couple of weeks ago. Now, we're at a point now. Oh, boy. 16 teams make the playoffs out of 32. They're all good. We should have thought that all 16 were a contender. And to be honest, Utah obviously really wasn't. Sorry, Darren from Utah. Some of these teams weren't. As it turns out, Pittsburgh really wasn't. But a good 12 of those teams, I would say, were legit Stanley Cup contenders. And now we're down to the Final Four. If any one of these teams went on to win the Stanley Cup, would any of us be surprised? No. Carolina was the best team in the East all year. Montreal has the je ne sais quoi. As I said, they're the team of destiny. How long does it last? I don't know, but doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon. Colorado was the number 1 team in the NHL all regular season. And then Vegas reinvented themselves. And I'll dislocate my shoulder patting myself on the back by just saying, I'm never counting these guys out. A lot of people did. I'm not going to name names. But people in that market, coaching change, Carter Hart got healthy, Rasmus Anderson was picked up. I saw it coming. Is it 111? Thank you, Carlos in Indiana. Should we switch to football for you, Carlos? 111. Envision a positive outcome and then live there. And envision the perfect you and live there too. I'm telling you, it's working for me. I live it. I wouldn't tell you if I didn't believe it. It actually works. I didn't come up with it. I just follow it. 902-518-3033 is the text line. I'm very eager to chat with Chris Nilan. I'm hoping that he got the message and he'll be with us next. I would like to know what goes into the torchbearers for the Montreal Canadiens. And again, everybody thinks, I was talking to Arash one day, my good friend Arash Madani. He's like, everybody's got an agenda. I said, I don't plan anything. Getting out of bed every day, trying to be a good person and put on a good show. That's all. That's my plan. And everything just falls around that. For instance, I'm sitting around in a restaurant the other night, Cafe Seville in Fort Lauderdale with some college football players, and the guys are all, tell us about this torch thing, and why do they do that, and how do they come up with who it brings it out? I'm like, I don't know how they do, but I got a guy coming on my show Friday. I'll ask him. And then I hear from the hockey people, they're like, Rod, the NHL really likes your show because you're getting people to watch the NHL down here. I am. I'm not telling them to. Point 3, because we're here and this show is registered in Canada, the Canadian Football League preseason really kicks off in a lot of ways with 4 games this weekend. I mean, there was one last Monday afternoon, which was great. I watched it on CFL Plus. Calgary beat Sask 20-15, my old team. But there's a game tonight. Ottawa Red Blacks facing the Montreal Alouettes. And then Saturday, a triple header. I don't believe any of them are on TV. It doesn't really matter to me because I'm going to be traveling all day. But it's the Toronto Argonauts versus the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That's the first game. The second game, the Edmonton Elcamos versus the BC Lions in Langford, British Columbia. Kevin, the medium, our Hour 1 co-host, is a Lions fan, and he doesn't even care about that game. So why would we? And then the Winnipeg Blue Bombers take on the Saskatchewan Roughriders at Griffith Stadium in Saskatoon, home of the University Huskies. First pro football game in Saskatoon in 35 years, they tell me. That's pretty exciting. Our poll question today, blame Kevin the medium for it because I have not much time for the talk of CFL expansion, but that's the poll question. Will the CFL ever expand? Last I saw, 85% on our Instagram page saying, yes, they will expand. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And I voted yes, too. But we spent far more time talking about it last hour because they've only been talking about it since the 1960s, and they've never gone beyond 9 teams. So why would we think that they will now? But I guess there's a little bit of hope involved in that. Point 4, George Springer homered. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. reached base 3 times, and the Toronto Blue Jays beat the New York Yankees 2-0 Thursday night to split a 4-game series. Springer hit his second homer of the series and gave the Blue Jays a 2-0 lead in the 7th by sending a 2-2 slider from Camilo Doval into the left field seats. I'm just getting my baseball ready. So I'll be called on the first game Thursday night for the Millers. All right, we'll take a timeout. We're 4 topics through the Quick 6 show topics here. Hoping to have Chris Knuckles Nilan when we return. It is the RP show. And if we don't have them, get your questions and comments in on all of the things we've been talking about. You're going to need to help me out if there's no Knuckles, okay? 902-518-3033 is the text line brought to you by Western Dodge or the YouTube feed. There's a lot of ways to consume this show, not to mention Game Plus streaming, podcast, and WQVZ. We'll be right back on Silver State Sports.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Welcome back to the RP Show on Silver State Sports. It's our distinct honor to be joined, brought to you by Prairie Panels, by Chris Knuckles Nilan, an absolute legend. 688 NHL games played, 3,043 penalty minutes, 225 points, and a Stanley Cup champion. A man of his word, a man of integrity. Thanks, Knuckles, for your patience in joining us today. Before the questions I'm really dying to get to with you with regards to the torch, which I'm sure you've answered 2,000 times, how about that opener last night, 6-2, game one? Did you see that coming?
Yeah, no, I didn't. Although when asked about it, about the layoff of Carolina and the Habs coming off of 7 games, I said if there's going to be an effect for one team, meaning Carolina having that layoff, you get the heel-ups and injuries, but you're basically out of the playoffs, 11 days. You're watching on TV, you're practicing every day, you're not playing games. You can try and simulate as much as you possibly can, but you're never going to get that practicing for 11 days. So I think if it was going to hurt them, it would hurt them in game one. Now that they got a taste of what's coming at them, I think they'll be better prepared, maybe not take this team for – and not that they took them for granted, but, boy, the Canadians just, after a 7-game series, you come out like that. And I looked at it, I'm like, oh, my God, they get scored on right away again. It keeps happening. And then all of a sudden the floodgates open. I wasn't shocked about them scoring in the first minute, but I was shocked what happened afterwards. I got to tell you, they were unbelievable.
What a team, what a wagon. You've seen it being built from day one, actually even before that. But I'm just dying to ask you about the torch. My God, what an honor. Can you talk about how did that all go? How'd that all go?
Yeah, I got a phone call. Listen, I was at the game before that, and when Big Surge came out, and I was at the game, and they had put me on the screen and played Rocky, and the place went, crazy, like they go crazy. And then the next day I got a phone call, and they asked me, and I was in shock because, up until that point, I've only seen Hall of Famers do that. Jean Beliveau, Guy Lafleur, Yvan Conway, Surge, all Hall of Famers. So I'm like, okay. I was honored. It was emotional. It was awesome to be asked, because again, a lot of times guys like us don't get that opportunity to do things like that. And it was cool, really cool.
Well, I've been to Montreal, and I've been there with you. I know how much you're loved. And what's that supposed to mean, guys like us? Fighters? I know how good they are.
Let's spade a spade here. A lot of time, you get recognized by the fans. The fans certainly love players like that. You know, every city, the guys who did all the fighting those years, they seem to be very popular in their cities. But, you know, that's kind of I think a past that certainly the NHL wants to forget about and push aside like it never happened. They're certainly trying to, you know, curb that kind of behavior in today's game. But that's what I mean, like guys like us.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny, by the way, because our viewers are all having this fun guess of who's it going to be next game. That must be going on in Montreal, too. Is that the buzz from the fans? Who's it going to be?
Yeah, everybody asks you, my friends, my neighbors. I don't know. They don't tell you. They ask, you know, they just ask you and then, you know, keep it low. They don't want it in the newspaper. And it's a surprise. And I think it's so awesome that they do that. You know, there's an article written here in the Gazette by Jack Todd, and he talked about, you know, how loud the crowd is. Then they get the DJ playing and hyping everybody up. And he said, oh, I think it really intimidates the young guys today. I'm like, you stop with the nonsense. It was like crazy that I can't even believe he wrote that. When you're in that runway, and I could only imagine it, sitting in the stands, hearing that crowd like that. I've said it before, if I was in that runway, I'd come out there, I think I'd kill someone. Like, talk about being pumped up and ready to go. That's got to get you ready to go. And if it doesn't, then you got a problem.
Yeah, but that's Jack, and you've known him a long time. You shouldn't be surprised. When's the last time you've talked to our mentor, Bob Merrier? When's the last time you talked to
him? Tuesday night. Yeah.
Okay. Every game he says it's going to be Carey Price. So I keep betting on Carey Price because Bob tells me. I don't even think he knows. He's just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I don't know. Bob isn't doing too good right now. He's having a little bit of a stroke. Yeah. So I went to visit him in the hospital when he was in, and I went to the game with him. Was it Larry's game or the game before? No, the game they lost to Buffalo at home, 8-3. And yeah, we spent some time together, and I saw him again Tuesday night. So he got a battle on his hands, but you know, listen, he's up for it, and you know, you have to put your best foot forward. It's terrible when you know something like that happens to people, but you have no choice but to keep your head up, stick your chin out, stick your chest out, stiffen up the backbone, and battle as much as you can.
The Habs winning is certainly helping his spirits. And for everybody that knows, I walked into a hall in Zenon Park, Saskatchewan. First time I met Knuckles, I said, you and I got a mutual friend, Bob Merrier. And away it went from there. It's been awesome. Yeah. And like I say, we're all pulling for him. We love him. He's just the best guy. What about this? People are saying, but when the Habs do the torch thing, they're not winning at home. Have you heard that? I mean, they're not going to stop doing the torch ceremony.
And they're just not winning at home. They're 2-4. They've proved to be a better road team. Listen, goaltending, and my whole thing with this team, and we didn't see it as much last night, is they're playing their own end of the rink. It's been abysmal the first two rounds. And if you think otherwise, then you don't know the game. They've relied on their goaltender so much, and it's great he's playing as well as he is because they wouldn't be here right now because of the golden opportunities they got in those first two series. So last night it was a different story. You know, the 28 shots against, they had 30 blocked shots last night. What's that say to you? It says to me that they're getting into the middle of the ice, all five of them. They're not running around as much as they were running around before. Their reads, their reads were a whole lot better last night in the defensive zone. And boy, when you have the puck most of the time, in second period, I know Carolina had a push. Things got a little dicey there, but boy, they stuck with it and they come back. That, we talked last night, but I really, when I look at the totality of their game last night, even though the second period, you got to give the other team credit. They did push back, but they weathered that well. Overall, to me, that was one of their best games, complete games of the playoffs. There were times in a lot of that game last night, they look like Game 7 against Buffalo in overtime. That's the type of team they are. And, a guy like Slavkovsky, they struggled. Last night, 5 goals from 5 different players. Slav had 2. There was a knock on him. Did the punch hurt him? Did the hit hurt him? Stop. It's hockey. And this kid, he's developed, and we've seen the stages. And the big thing with him, when he's not skating, you can see it. He sticks out like a sore thumb. He can't play his game when he's not skating. Big men have to skate. You're not going to get there to separate guys from the puck. You're not going to get to the net. You're going to get there just a little late. When his legs are working, man, forget about it. And they were working last night.
I've had you on about once a year through this whole rebuild. So would you say that they're on schedule or ahead of schedule with this? Because like I say, you've been watching it every day. Are they on schedule or are they ahead of schedule?
Oof. Let's put it this way. I believe they've exceeded their expectations already. I think this year, taking that step last year, getting in the playoffs, the last game of the season against Carolina, who, by the way, last year didn't dress like 5 of the best players that last game of the season. Canadians get in. They run up against Wash. They were outmatched physically. And certainly, it was great experience for them. Then they go through this season, they a little funky start, and then boom, they take off and they start to go. Listen, I'd say they're on schedule, but if they get through this round, and again, it's one game they won, and they go to the final, if they won the Stanley Cup this year, just say it, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, but this is one of, to me, from what I've seen, one of the best rebuilds ever in hockey.
Yep.
These guys have done unbelievable. Gordon and Hughes together, man, 2 really good hockey minds, and Hughes knowing, the other side of dealing with players, being an agent, and then coming in. Look at the contracts he signed with these guys, to be able to keep all this young talent, and get it at a good price. So you're able to go ahead and maybe have that depth to win. And with the salary cap going up, it certainly should help them moving forward. But and Jeff Gordon, he's done it. Here's a guy who started as a statistician in Boston. He was a stat guy. He worked his ass off to get up where he's probably one of the most affable and open GMs in the NHL. He's on podcasts. He was on Chicklets the other night. He does stuff, and he's not he's not shy to get out there and talking. The 2 of them together, and then bringing in Marty. Come on, Marty, just a really innovative guy. He speaks really well, and he explains what he does really well in the sense of his communication with his players. And I've said this before about Money. There were times I said, when is he going to bring out that stick? It's always the carrot. But boy, and I go back to Kirby Doc when everybody wanted to hang him here in the first round because that the defensive play in his own end, and he was struggling in that game. And everybody wanted him out of the lineup. Screw. He brings him back. He's stuck with his player. And sticking with that guy not only helps him, it helps the rest of the team because they're like, well, look at this coach. Everybody wants to hang this kid. He's stuck right with him. Kirby comes back, has a huge game the next game, and has been a part of this. But certainly, sorry, the coach, the 3 of them, is pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. So,
boy, somebody's really trying to get a hold of you, Knuckles.
Oh, God, leave me alone. Anyway.
5 more minutes. 5 more minutes is all I'll bother you for. By the way, John Cooper's like that with his coaches and explains his success. And speaking of Tampa Bay, I love the article that Marty's consulting with Vincent LeCavalier, or Vinny's consulting with the Habs. And I'm laughing because I'm like, and meanwhile, the Leafs are using AI. and
Yeah.
ChatGPT to run that. Kind of explains the difference in the two organizations, doesn't it?
Well, I'm sure they probably, and again, I don't know who uses AI or what, or advanced stats and all that. I know one thing. I look at the product on the ice. I look at what's going on the ice. I look at how guys play, and see their determination, their will, imposing their will, their talent. It's a talented bunch of kids, but the talent alone doesn't win you hockey games. And this team has really stuck in there for each other. And one of the big things for me with these guys, they've drafted character kids. I remember they taken Slavkovsky, everybody, Shane Wright. They take Slav, everybody, oh, come on. So, they in a city where every move you make is just dissected, chopped up, beat up, spit out, and regurgitated 90 million ways till Sunday. These guys have really, really impressed me. And I always say it, it takes a Boston guy to turn the Habs around.
It's remarkable what they've done. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I didn't notice him last night, but is your favorite player Jesperi Kotkaniemi playing for Carolina? I didn't notice him last. He's still there?
He isn't.
He's not?
But that's old. And again, no knock on the kid. They drafted him. He moved way up in the draft. He probably moved 7 places up. I think they had him around 11, right? And 12. And when you draft by position, not taking the best player available, it can bite you. So, and again, he's not playing, and that's unfortunate. But the NHL is highly competitive. You better be able to bring it every night. And if you're known as an offensive player, you got to, those guys get paid big money, and it's, they got to come through. And it was nice to see last night that big line finally do something 5-on-5 where they've struggled during the first 2 rounds.
We got about 4 minutes left. I don't know who's going to meet in the Stanley Cup final, but you must have thoughts on what's going on in Vegas, on the ice and off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for Mitch Marner. They hung that kid out to dry in Toronto. We saw this year what happened with Austin Matthews. Not too easy without Mitch Marner, And, I remember Mitch Marner in the playoffs with them going down, blocking shots, blocked another shot, doing things that a lot of offensive players at times don't do. I've seen it here. Suzuki blocking him. Last night, Slavkovsky. They all, like Caulfield, like, you got to do that. And I look at Mitch, what he's done out there. I couldn't be happier for that kid. Like, they friggin' marginalized him, hung him out to dry, and I'm so happy to see him, doing well in Vegas, for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
I give a shit about the rest of them.
I'm happy for the goalie. He's a Western Canadian kid from Edmonton, and the whole story. Who do you think comes out in that series?
Everybody always asks me. They don't even know who's going to come out. Everybody says, who's going to win tonight? I said, they don't even know who's going to win tonight. You got to lay it out there. We like to think last night, oh, Carolina, they undefeated. Oh, my God, Freddie Anderson. Well, hello. What? So I think they expected to win. I think the Habs, honestly, expected to win because the way they played last night, boy, they were hungry. They were on it. What a talented and making plays. It was incredible.
We got a minute. Do you think the Vegas are pulling together with what's gone on off the ice, Torts being fine and their GM's in trouble? Do you think that's galvanized them?
Yeah, that always helps. I'm sure they've all circled the wagons on that one. But listen, they're a talented team. Yeah, they're missing Stone. I get it. They're a well-weathered team. They've been around. They've had success. They've won a cup. And Colorado misses McCarr. There's no question about it. But when you got McKinnon, Lekkonen's proven to be a really good player. They got some really talented guys. Kadri there. The other Finn. Like, hello. It's one game. Both teams, one game. That's all it is. And I say it. I always say it. When I played there, beginning, I remember Toblake coming in after after winning the playoffs, and he'd have his overcoat over his arm and holding his fedora, and he'd come up and he'd say, "You got nothing yet. It's only one game. You got nothing yet." And he would go around and say that to everybody. Like Toe Blake, come on. And it's true. You have nothing at all yet.
Well, hopefully somebody's saying that before game 2. All right, Knuckles, thanks so much. Super proud of you, man. My best to Jamie and your dog. And go, Habs, go. Good seeing you, brother. Thank you.
Great to see you. You still look like my father-in-law, by the way.
He's a great-looking guy. Knuckles says I look like his father-in-law. He's a super handsome dude. We'll be right back here on Silver State Sports.
Ready for a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band.
You know your man is working hard. He's worth a team.
Saturday, December 5th, Temple Garden Center. The Gene Simmons Band performing your favorite classic hits. Tickets on sale now at sasktix.ca. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
Get ready to make unforgettable memories with your little ones at Elmo's Got the Moves, the all-new Sesame Street live show coming to your neighborhood. Friday, December 4th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at SaskTix.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody, and God bless Chris Knuckles Nilan, right? Oh, my God, what a fun chat. I should have known he would never let me down. He never has. But that was a great – I just hadn't heard back from him when he said he was going to be good to come on the show. James writes in from Manitoba, says, it's Mr. Hab. Love your passion. Oh, my God. That's the one thing about sports that I love so much. It would be so much fun as a Canadians organization to sit around and go, who are we going to get next? Oh, we showed Knuckles on the screen and they went crazy. Let's get Knuckles. It'd be such an honor to carry that torch out. And I never even thought about because he's a Hall of Famer to me, right? When Knuckles is like, oh, I'm not in the Hall of Fame. I'm surprised they would have me. It kind of tells you the kind of guy he is, right? And yeah, Jason and Red remembers the story. And we went into his house in Knuckles' house in Montreal. And I brought these 2 cakes in a box. I paid a lot of money to get Go Habs Go put on an icing. I'm like, Knuckles, open the box. I'll get to it. Go open the box. And he waved the cleaver. Don't you tell me what to do. I knew that his bark was worse than his bite. P was running down Moose's leg. He was with me. That was a great night. Producer Corey liked that story. Cardinal Ryan writes in, he says, safe travels, Rod. Great show today. I hope everyone enjoys their weekend. Well, the guests make the show. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And that also reminds me, Knuckles is like, he always says I look just like his wife's dad, his father-in-law. And so Jamie pulled out her phone. She's like, this is my dad. I'm like, I don't see it. Very handsome guy. 902-518-3033. It's just a fun game to pick who it's going to be. And that's the one thing, I mean, certain teams really honor their alumni and certain teams don't. And I'm not going to name any more names, but I don't know why you wouldn't. Some did, and then they stopped, and whatever. Sports update, a sad note. Kyle Busch, the winningest driver across NASCAR's 3 top series, died Thursday after being hospitalized with a severe illness. The 2-time Cup Series champion was 41 years old. To say that has rocked people, especially where I live, is an understatement. NASCAR was born here in Florida. Look it up. It's a hell of a story. Kyle Busch, the number 1 guy in the sport, right? Now, people are taking it tough. And obviously very much by surprise. We went into the hospital and didn't come out. It was quick. From the NFL, the Rams signed quarterback Matthew Stafford to a 1-year, $55 million extension Thursday, keeping the 38-year-old reigning MVP in L.A. through 2027. This despite having just drafted Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson with the 13th pick in last month's draft. That's cold. Whoever wrote that, that's cold. Like, I don't understand. This is like the Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers thing or the Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers thing. Like, guys, so they drafted a quarterback in the first round. What, we're supposed to never draft a quarterback? Like, let's get a hold of ourselves here. This one surprised me. Jeff Van Gundy is reportedly a finalist for the Trailblazers head coaching gig alongside current interim coach Tiago Splitter and Timberwolves assistant Micah Nori. Van Gundy, Clippers assistant for the last 2 seasons, was last a head coach in 2007. Yeah, that's why it surprised me. I'm like, I actually thought he was dead. I haven't seen him on TV because I watch the NBA. We never talk about it here on the show. We have enough to talk about with the football and who am I getting? Like, I'm not going to bring on any basketball guests. I don't know anybody in the NBA. Well, I know a few, but Jeff Van Gundy hasn't coached in 20 years. And are you following what's going on in Portland? They got an owner there that's trying to cut costs. And yeah, I didn't know that that's where Van Gundy was. I thought he died. I just knew that he wasn't on TV with Mike Bream. Oh, they formed such a tremendous duo on television for years. So he's been with the Clippers. Huh? Well, that'll be interesting if they hire Jeff Van Gundy. This coaching gig is not for the faint of heart, I'll tell you that. You all know that. You don't need to work in the sports to understand that. But I think you think there's not a lot of people looking at Martin St. Louis going, what's he doing right in Montreal? Oh, he's sticking by his players. He's treating them with respect. He's not hanging them in effigy when they make a mistake. Oh, that's new. Maybe Van Gundy's always coached like that. I don't know. It's working for St. Louis. We'll be right back with Overtime. One last segment for the day and from America this spring, right after this.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon
and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. All right, welcome back, everybody. Putting a bow on this show today, and this overtime segment brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. An an amusement park for hockey players. They say where skill and fun collide. It's both. It's everything. If you're a hockey player, hockey fan, you're going to love Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. And yes, and now I got a reason to go to Calgary. You guys guessed it. You're pretty perceptive. I said I'm going out for a business venture meeting in Calgary in June, I guess, for the CFL game there. And looks like you guys have sniffed what it is. And it's not like a huge thing. You're going to see in less than a month's time who's there and what we're doing. But it's not really at liberty for me to say what it is at this time. But it's going to be good. Utah Darren, I appreciate you hanging in for the whole show. When I was talking about the alumni and how important they are and how much I love it, Utah Darren says, I hope my team is around to have alumni to honor. LOL. He's talking about his Utah Mammoth. Oh, I think they're going to be there for the long haul. I mean, like, I've worked for multiple teams, but not a ton of teams. I can count them all on one hand, but we worked really hard to build up the alumni with one team, and it was really awesome. And we had a lot of alumni events, and the fans loved having the alumni around. And then the team got sold, and all of a sudden the new owner. We had a big alumni lounge, and on the wall it said alumni. Before every game, we all got together, and then the owner came in and just had a paint right over it. Disbanded the alumni. One of our viewers wrote in earlier, said, why would he do that? I'm like, I don't know. Ask him. That was the end of the alumni. But my point is, now that I'm out, not working for teams per se, yeah, I'm going to be working for the Millers here beginning next week, but that's a little different. That's not a full-time job. Now I get out and I look around and say, oh, there are other ways to do things. I spent a decade or more with certain teams. You think that's the only way to do it. No, there are other ways to do it, Rod. You don't have the patent on that. Oh, okay. Dan in Winnipeg writes in, he says, Rod, do you think the Habs can beat the Hurricanes? They already did, so. I know what you mean in the series, but of course, they're there, man. Dan, I say it every day. They're on the ice with them, so they have a chance to beat them. Rob from Las Vegas writes in and says, Zach Caleros is starting for the Bombers tomorrow against the Riders. Chad Kelly starting for the Argos against the Ticats. Safe travels, Rod. That's CFL lingo, everybody. He says, we'll see you at the ballpark this summer. Yes, we will. Yeah, I'm excited to go home. There's some people here not too happy. I'm like, I'm coming back. Also, thank you, Utah, Darren. He says, I thought Van Gundy died when he tried to break up that fight on the court in the 90s. Okay, it's not just me then. His hair flapped across his mouth. Remember that? He was like in the undertow. Yeah, I thought he died. Arlen Bruce checks in. AB says, if you need or are looking for a luxury Airbnb in Calgary, I have the perfect connection to get you in 10 minutes from downtown Calgary. Oh, thank you, AB. But I got dozens, if not hundreds of people to stay with in Calgary. Thank you. But we're good. Tony from Cochrane, Alberta. He must have been out of the house earlier when I was discussing this. He says, are you going to announce the Vancouver Roxy Rollers? Whoa. Not a bad idea. That's not what we're doing. This is not a roller hockey meeting. But we're quasi having a roller hockey meeting here tonight in West Palm Beach, Florida, before I bounce to Canada for the summer. But the one thing that we've discerned is that the Vancouver Voodoo, as it stands right now, may not be coming back because as a name, because the Vancouver Canucks own that name. It is the best name maybe in pro sports history from the original Roller Hockey International in the 90s, the Vancouver Voodoo, owned by my dear friend Tiger Williams, which he told me in an interview, which you'll be seeing or reading, he sold the team to the Vancouver Canucks in the 90s because the Canucks were tired of fighting with the Voodoo. Because according to Tiger, I mean, you Vancouver people, Tiger's got the BS meter pretty high most days, but he said they were outdrawing the Canucks, outselling the Canucks in merchandise. That may all be true. I don't know. Tiger said it in the interview, so somebody can check it out. But anyways, the Vancouver Voodoo, the name is owned by the Canucks. So unless they want to own a team in RHI 2.0, which is what we're doing, it'll have to have another name. But the Vancouver Roxy, oh boy, I was thinking about the Roxy the other day. You know what I was thinking about? It would take a lot to get me on the dance floor now, but it didn't take a lot to get me on the dance floor at the Roxy in Vancouver back in the day. Ooh, boy. Ask Mike Morreale about that. 2011 Grey Cup. Jason, keep that under wraps. I'd like to read your comment, but you're on to something. We can't spill the beans. What did I tell you my coach said the other day? She's like, maybe don't say everything that you're thinking. That would be new, but not a bad idea. It's what I pay her for. Dan in Winnipeg says, Rod, could Winnipeg support a WNHL team? You mean the PWHL, the women's? Let's put it this way. If any city could do it, it's Winnipeg. You've supported the NHL, the AHL, the WHL when you had it. All those junior A teams, of course it could. As a matter of fact, I can't believe they haven't announced Winnipeg yet. But they're going everywhere else. Yes, Jason, great minds do. I'll be bringing that up at the meeting tonight, by the way. Your idea there in West Palm Beach. So anyways, flying back to the Great White North. Come Monday, we'll be broadcasting live from the Golden Ticket Sports Center, our summer home. So, yeah, thank you, everybody. Thanks to Knuckles, man. Not only did he show up, but as usual, he rocked it. Thank you, Brett from Saskatoon. He says, Chris Knuckles Nilan's a great guy. Safe travels back to... Of course he's a great guy. He's my friend. I'm only friends with great guys. We call it the Good Guy Network. See you Monday, everybody. Have a good weekend.
That.